As always, this thread is too big to fully cover, so the link is in the description. Anyways, onto the posts. What is a survival myth that is completely wrong and could get you killed? Perhaps not really a myth, but something people may think is true after watching people get rescued from the water on TV. Get them breathing and send them on their merry way. If you rescue someone from a near drowning, they still need to go to the hospital, even though they are safely on land now. The lungs are coated with a slippery mucus-like substance called a surfactant. It's kind of a lubricant, and it keeps them from collapsing and sticking to themselves. If they ingested a lot of water into the lungs, chances are they have washed away the surfactant. Their lungs could collapse at any moment and their ability to uptake oxygen is reduced. Get the survivor on oxygen. Source: rescue trained scuba diver here. Can confirm. Dry drowning is a thing. Past lifeguard. Past lifeguard. Sounds like some sort of mystical protector for the reincarnated. Only works at the river Styx. That bears can't run down hills. They can. They'll get you too. I was actually going to try and find this fact, and what do you know? It's at the top. Bears are no joke. They run, climb and swim like a damn CrossFit junkie jacked up on meth. Another thing is they don't gas out quickly. I've seen videos of bears running full speed then swimming across a river and running full speed again to catch prey. Insane. If they could just learn to ride a bike, Ironman would dominated by bears. Drowning people do not cry for help or make gestures to try and get someone's attention. What they are doing is trying to stay afloat and trying to catch their breath. Never count on a cry for help. This is true of trauma/injuries too. People who are seriously hurt aren't usually the ones screaming and flapping around. They'll more likely be in shock or losing consciousness. If you are on scene at a large accident like a traffic collision or something, and it's safe to help, look out for the quiet people. If you go into a lake when in a car, don't wait until the car fills with water. Just open the window and get out as soon as possible. If you wait, you could be 200 feet down or flipped over on the bottom. The power will still work for a short time. It only takes a few seconds. Edit. Source: Mus Buddy did his master thesis on exactly this, and I got to practice it several times in a pool. You got to practice that in a secure environment? That must have been a lot of fun. Yes. It was really cool to do, but the water was really cold. Zigzag to escape an alligator. Alligators can turn, but can/will only run in short bursts. Just run as fast as you can. Fun fact: alligators only run for short durations because the way they wiggle when they run compresses their lungs, so they can't breathe while running. Another fun fact: same. Seems like I heard if you are within 12 feet he can get you. Outside 12 feet you can get away. Rule of thumb: don't be within 12 feet of an alligator. Wait until you hear the freight train sound to go to the tornado shelter. I was always told as a kid, if you can't hear it you're alright. At 20 years old I was caught out in the woods with a few friends thinking we had 10 to 15 minutes to get back to the truck after the tornado warning went out. 3 minutes after the warning we heard what sounded like a freight train and this loud hissing sound, like 1,000 rattlesnakes. Within 30 seconds we were watching trees get plucked up into the air. We all made it out alright. Luckily there was a large ravine that was dry that time of year and we scrambled into it and flattened out gripping to each other and rocks for dear life. It took 30 seconds from the time we realized it was in front of us till it was on top of us. Later in life I watched a Ref3 touchdown. Because how tornadoes spin and the earth spins, and I was traveling at 75 miles per hour down a highway. I thought I was running alongside it. About 1 mile from it. I couldn't hear it. I could see trees and barns going up into the air with it. I never realized it was coming towards me at about 30 miles per hour. By the time I heard it and felt a pressure change inside the cab of my truck I had no choice but to bail out and run into a culvert alongside the interstate. This all happened within 60 seconds. If you've already heard the tornado, you need to be in your shelter, not heading towards it. A tornado watch is an advisory to be watching for tornadoes. It means it is highly plausible for a tornado to form and touch down. A warning means a radar indicated tornado has touched down and possibly even been spotted by human eye. If you cannot get indoors, get as low as you can. I have made a habit. As soon as a tornado watch is released in my county, my go bag, the diaper bag, the kids stuff they will need all goes in a large duffel in the storm room. I'll watch velocity radar like a hawk until the watch is cleared. If it is elevated to a warning, we all pile in. Tornadoes can drop out of the sky right on top of you in under a minute, leaving you with little to no reaction time. They don't happen in my country, but thanks for sharing this. It really expanded my view on how our daily experiences differ. That you can easily disarm someone holding you at gunpoint. Detroit urban survival flashbacks. I wanna see that dude try that shit in the actual streets of Detroit so bad. Mfas would sell both his earpieces on Craigslist for $5 the next day. Mayo. Do not wander off to look for help. Stay put. Stay by your car, or wherever you realize that you are lost. The more you move, the harder it gets for rescue to find you. Make yourself visible, but do not try to find the way back yourself. You already don't know where you are. You don't know where you're going. If it's absolutely necessary to relocate, use something like rocks to make a sturdy arrow / sign of the direction you go. Do not try to leave a deserted island. If you are stuck, you will almost certainly die before someone spots you. All good Gilligan's Island taught me, it's better to stay put and spend my resources making bamboo golf carts and bathtubs. Well, of course you have to have a bamboo golf cart. Do you really expect anyone to have to walk to the island fashion show? More just a hey, don't do that. Leave large animals alone. Even if you find say a large track or droppings that make you think hey, that's probably a big enough animal to kill me, leave the area. Herbivores like moose or elk or bison can kill you just as easily as a bear, often far more likely because they see you as a predator. Don't close the distance if you find a large critter. I don't care if the photo is shitty from that distance. Better to have a crappy photo of a bison than get crushed and stomped in the middle of nowhere to bleed out alone. I can't help but laugh sometimes at videos of people having to dip out when they piss off bison. It's a 3,000+ pound tank made of meat, and they are ornery at the best of times. How did they think that was gonna play out? They wouldn't let the wild animals in the park if they were dangerous. In colder months especially, if you're lost in the forest / woods, build a bed first. Get your ass off the ground, as the ground will suck your body heat away from you way faster than the air temperature will. Just to clarify, this is the truth, rather than the myth. You won't need that. We won't be gone long. Carry basic survival tools whenever you go out hiking, hunting, camping, etc. Things like a magnesium with flint and steel fire starter, a life straw or water purification tablets don't weigh much or take up much space and can be a lifesaver. Many get lost on short trips or get injured leaving them stuck in the wilderness. It doesn't take a massive forest or jungle to get lost. In my personal hunting pack I always carry a survival knife, fire starter, and life straw. These 3 items may not guarantee survival, but they improve my odds. I don't know if this is considered as a survival myth, but engaging street fights is never a good option. If there is an altercation that may lead to a street fight, just stay calm and run away from the situation. No one wins real street fights. Someone will either end up in a hospital or in a funeral. That's just the truth. And if you can't run away, don't fight fair. Fighting fair is for martial arts contests. But definitely run away first. Landing in water from high up is going to kill you 10 meters. 15, maybe 20. You'll probably be fine if you land properly. Get much higher than that is getting into broken bones and death territory. Not really advice, but it was a funny thing my brother said. If you ever fall from an airplane and you have the choice between concrete and water, choose concrete. At least that way your freshly crippled body won't have to try and swim afterwards. Story of a guy whose parachute didn't deploy. He aimed for bushes / trees, then landed with his legs and arms outstretched. Dude survived. Barely. Punching the biggest guy in prison on your first day. Real talk. From an actual former criminal, your best bet in jail / prison is to just be normal and blend in. It isn't as extreme as media makes it out to be. Building a raft to sail to civilization. If you ever find yourself marooned on a deserted island, stay on the island and be found alive vs never found or found dehydrated and dead of exposure. Also walking to safety. If you get lost and your car breaks down, stay with the vehicle. They always find the vehicle. Its inhabitants not so much. Edit. Since this comment has seemed to blow up, let me preface this with I'm not a rescue professional and just reposting what seems like good advice I have seen on Reddit. Do your own research. Every situation is different. If you're that fucked, burn a tire a bit away from the car. Thick black smoke will be visible for a long ways. If you're unfortunate enough to be in a bank whilst an armed robbery is underway, don't be a hero. The banks are insured, and the money can be replaced. Your life can't be replaced. Just because the robber/s didn't go into the bank with the intention of killing anyone doesn't mean they still won't if spooked/challenged. A living witness is better than a dead hero. Opening windows during a tornado. Even as a child growing up in the Midwest, I never understood this. I always thought, doesn't it let the high winds in? I remember in first grade we had a tornado warning and some of the teachers were wasting time by opening windows. Even as a child growing up in the Midwest, I never understood this. I always thought, doesn't it let the high winds in? Yeah, the idea of opening windows during a tornado was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how they destroyed buildings. People thought they caused buildings to explode because of the change in air pressure, when it's really the winds and debris doing the damage. If you get stabbed by something, do not try to remove the object. You will make it worse and potentially bleed to death, depending on where you were stabbed. If you try and pull it out, leave it be and get help. When I was in elementary school, a kid from a different school got stabbed with a brush during a child play. It went through his lung, and probably in a state of shock he immediately removed the object. He died as a result of it. Since then in every health class we were taught this, and this story was used as an example. Scary stuff. What the actual hell? Don't drink water from cactus. It's not potable and likely to trigger vomiting/diarrhea and you will get more dehydrated. Yes, I believe there's this one very specific species where the water is safe to drink, but in general cactus water is a big no-no. Some of the few species you can drink water from is the beaver tail cactus and the fish hook barrel cactus. And that's all the replies I'll be including for this post. I hope you enjoyed, and if you'd like to see more, then don't hesitate to sub and like once again. The original post link is in the description.